If you've been watching the Springboks this year, you know there's something extraordinary brewing. Their dominance on the field, their strategic planning, and their ability to keep one eye on the present and the other on the future are turning heads across the rugby world, and former England playmaker Stuart has plenty to say about it. The Springboks closed their 2024 campaign with an emphatic 45-12 victory over Wales, marking their 11th win of the year from 13 games. It's a record to be proud of, especially considering their only 2 losses were by a single point each. But according to Stuart, the real story isn't just about the victories, it's about the genius behind them. In his Sunday Times column, Barnes hailed Rassie Erasmus as a plotter supreme, balancing short-term wins with long-term planning for the 2027 Rugby World Cup. Winning is vitally important to South Africa, but it is not all important, not quite. Erasmus is the plotter supreme, one eye on the next game, the other on 2027, and yet, cross-eyed or not, still they keep winning. That is what is most impressive in the broadest sense. Barnes highlighted how Erasmus's strategy isn't new. It mirrors what the Springboks did in 2021, winning a scrappy series against the British and Irish Lions while preparing for future triumphs. Even their performances against Scotland and England this year, which some criticised, were part of a bigger plan. There were plenty who questioned the quality of their performances against Scotland and England without considering the wider plan, of which Cardiff was merely the next jigsaw piece. The Springboks' evolution isn't just about tactics, it's also about personnel. Erasmus has rotated more players than ever, using 51 players this year alone. Barnes praised the impact of new backs coach Tony Brown, whose vision is shaping a new generation of Springbok rugby. This management is not only picking more players than ever, but in Tony Brown, they have a backs coach who has the vision to ignite this and future generations of Springbok sides. And the results? A team that's blending defensive resilience with attacking flair, epitomized by players like Cheslin Kolbe. Cheslin Kolbe symbolizes this Springbok vintage every bit as much as Etzebeth. It's a revolution masked as evolution, frightening for opposition, exhilarating for the rest of us. Barnes compared the Springboks' bold strategy with what he called England's safety-first approach. When England named their 36-man squads, you can be sure a substantial number of the inexperienced players disappear from the match day 23. South Africa would have blooded countless new players against Japan. England opt for familiarity. For Barnes, this difference is key to why the Springboks are so far ahead of their rivals. By trusting their players and exposing them to test rugby early, South Africa transitions potential stars into seasoned performers faster than anyone else. South Africa trusts their players, they don't pressurize them. There's no talk about the weight of a rugby jersey. They combine defensive willpower with freedom of expression. Can this relentless focus on depth and future planning sustain the Springboks' dominance? Critics argue that constant rotation risks disrupting rhythm, but Barnes sees it as a calculated gamble that's paying off. 11 wins from 13 matches in 2024 isn't a bad foundation on which to build a base to target a 3rd consecutive World Cup title. And while Barnes acknowledges that the Springboks haven't always looked invincible, he leaves no doubt about their resilience. They haven't always looked as formidable as that initial breathless period against Wales, but even when South Africa have lost, the margins were a solitary point on both occasions. There is no harder team to beat. Is Rassie Erasmus's long-term strategy the secret to South Africa's continued success, or could this heavy focus on the future come at the cost of present-day consistency? And how does their bold approach compare to the more conservative strategies of teams like England? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to Green and Gold Army News for all the latest updates, debates and insights from the rugby world. This Springbok story is far from over. Let's hear what you think.